Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are gonna work in this pen pal envelope and Happy Mail, specifically on this amazing folder. I made it out of a simulation of a box, and it opens like this and it has a lot of room. So let's get started. So we're gonna start with an envelope that we are gonna use just to check the measurement of our folder because I wanted to fit in there. You're gonna need a rule so you know exactly what the size is. In my case, I'm gonna measure both sides, like how wide it's gonna be, but maybe a little bit more because we're gonna fold this. So I'm gonna just measure everything 3 inches bigger than my envelope. My envelope is 6.5, which means that my paper is gonna be 9.5 right here. And then I'm gonna do the same all the way up right here. And then I'm gonna cut my the piece of paper. I'm gonna keep the leftovers so I can close the folder later. And then I'm gonna do the same with the height of the envelope. So this one is 4 3/4, meaning I'm gonna check like about 7 3/4, and I'm gonna measure that. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna cut. Now I love this piece of paper, but it's blank in the back, so to avoid having something blank, I'm gonna just add some additional ink and I'm gonna decorate. So when we fold, we have some texture and colors, beautiful. I'm sending these to a friend who loves flowers, so I'm thinking about some green with some purple flowers and something like that. She really likes these very beautiful bright colors that come through spring. So I'm thinking that using the ink in this project, this green ink in the project is going to be really good for her in the way that I want to share with her. So I'm going through the whole piece of paper. I'm gonna do this in the edges, and then the plan is stamping in the middle. Of course, I'm gonna add more ink. I'm not really good at inking, as you can tell, but I think it's gonna look good. Now, using my kind of fuchsia ink color stamp, I'm gonna stamp some flowers. As you can see here, I have a wooden stamp. This is set from Stampin' Up. You can use any flower that you have. You can draw, you can do whatever you want, or you can have already pattern paper. In my case, I just wanted to add something to this, and I think that there is a huge plus when you do something manual for your friends. I love doing this every time I have the chance to do something with my hands for my friends. I feel super special about it, even if it's not perfect, especially if it's not perfect, because that means that somebody gave me the opportunity to try. So I'm gonna add some flowers everywhere. It really doesn't have to be perfect, but the idea is that the edges we're gonna fold, so it doesn't have to be really perfect here. I'm also gonna add some leaves here, and I'm gonna use the same ink, but because it's not effeminated, then it's gonna be darker. And you can tell now that it's looking more like a little garden here. So just kind of trust the process, I guess. Okay, next, what I'm gonna do is just score my my paper. Since we added 3 inches to our folder, each one of the sides is gonna have 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna just start folding each one of the sides, and the same thing on the top here. So once we have everything folded, this scoreboard was a little bit smaller than my piece of paper, so really there is no problem because we know where the rest of the paper should be folded. So I'm gonna use this ball here, and I'm gonna cut each one of the edges just to that part that the fold is meeting the other side. I'm gonna do that in all 4 corners. Basically, we're gonna create something like a box, and then we're gonna fold them. This is gonna be similar to a lunchbox. I'm also cutting like the meeting to the other part because we're gonna glue, and when we have these diagonal cuts on the sides, it makes it a lot easier to put the pieces together. Again, we're gonna do that in all 4 sides. And now it's the time to glue, but before we glue, I guess one thing that I would love to do is just test if it's gonna fold in the way I want. So I'm just gonna put the 2 pieces together here in the 2 sides, and then I'm gonna make kind of a diagonal fold like this, and make sure that the part on the smallest line is folded correctly like this, and it should align with the sides of the box. And now what I'm gonna do is just go in with my bone here, and I'm gonna do exactly the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna put all pieces together and then kind of fold the paper like this. So this part should be straight and line with the edge of the other side, and we do the same thing on the other side of the box. This is probably the hardest part, and it's not even really hard. And you can see how I'm using my bones here to make sure that it closes correctly. Once everything has been folded, I think we're ready to paste it. And I really like folding before I glue, because at this point I know exactly where to apply the glue. So we have hole here, and we're gonna do the same thing with all 4 corners. And I like holding it a little bit because, as you can see, if you don't hold it long enough, then it's gonna open, and because this is not a super fast drying glue, it's just regular school glue, which really we don't need much more because this is just paper. It's not leather or some other stronger material. I think for these we only need the glue and we're just fine. So I'm just gonna hold it for a few seconds, and then it's gonna stick, and then we need to wait for it to be dry. Just make sure that everything aligns in the right place, like this one. And of course this one that was not sticking as good as I wanted to. And this one has to be stuck, and It's beautiful in the back, it's beautiful in the top. We're gonna fold anyway. So in the meantime, what I'm gonna try to do is just fill out these little blocks. It is still drying, but putting some ephemera inside of the board is not gonna impact the process of drying. So let's just fill it out with some stuff here while we're waiting for it to dry. Alright, it looks like it's mostly dry. So we need to put a lid on this. I'm thinking about using this wallpaper. So I'm gonna turn around these and then using a pencil, I'm just gonna draw a line so I can cut it in the right size. So now it's just cutting. I'm gonna use my scoreboard just to make sure that I don't make mistakes with scissors. So we cut it in both sides and we should be ready to paste it. So here I'm applying some glue on the box. So everything is folded, as you can see. The idea is that this is directly pasted into the lid of this folder. So when I open the lid, this folder opens instantly. So I'm gonna apply it there and just let it sit and dry for some minutes. Just making sure that it fits perfectly and it's aligned. So while this is drying, I'm gonna use this piece of paper that we kept before. Do you remember this? And then I'm gonna wrap it up around the folder, like so. And then I'm just gonna decorate. I'm using this girl sticker. As I said, my friend really loves flowers and everything romantic, so I'm trying to use as much romantic stuff that I can. And then I'm gonna use these mini stickers, which I love. I love this. And then we just put it here. I'm gonna apply some stamps in the decoration, and that's about it. I need to check how this is doing, and as I said, it opens as soon as I open the lid. See, this is perfect now. This is what I was looking for. I'm gonna put my letter in there. Alright, let's apply one of these um, closures. I think this is perfect for this folder because although I'm not really concerned that it's gonna open while traveling, I think it just adds some beauty to the composition. So I'm gonna just pull these two pieces together and then paste it in the folder so it's gonna be easy to open. So we'll put it right in the middle and then we close these and we're ready to paste this. So all we need to do is just apply glue. So I apply glue one here, a little bit here, and then I'm ready to close it. All right, so we can put the folder inside now. Just want to make sure that it fits. Now is the time for the envelope. It's gonna be super quick. I stamped this rice paper with flowers and very spring-like colors. It's a little bit more vibrant than I usually work with, but I love it. It's very beautiful, so I'm pasting that to the envelope. Of course, I'm gonna add some labels on it and some stickers here and there. This is the address of my friend. It's covered because it's got personal information. And then I'm gonna paste some additional decoration here. I have a label, and I printed this girl several years ago, about 2 years ago. This is hand-drawn girl. I don't quite like it as much, but I really love the idea of how romantic she looks like. So I'm adding her here, and I think that she looks quite nice here. And I'm decided to use these PET stickers, and of course I'm gonna use these stickers that I got from Daiso. This bird was calling my attention, and then I'm just adding the postage, and we should be ready to send this envelope as soon as I am done putting the letter inside of the folder. Anyway, this is how it looks like. This is the end. I hope that you enjoy this, but our folder is ready. We can open it like that, and as expected, it opens as soon as I lift up the lid. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoy it. See you next week. Bye.